Huh. So apparently you guys didn't really care for the last review video I did. Well, screw it. I still want to talk about parks and attractions and give my honest opinion about them. Plus, I do want to talk about Walt Disney World a lot more. So to continue this, I'm going to be talking about a park that's been a fan favorite over the last few years, and that's going to be Disney's Animal Kingdom. Now, most of you only know this park for two main aspects. That would be Pandora the World of Avatar and Expedition Everest. And that's really the reason I know this park. Seriously, there's not much when you get past their two e-ticket attractions, and I'll discuss that later, but first let me talk about their main rides. So, Everest. This ride, it's stunning. I love looking at this snowy mountaintop. It would be the icon of the park if it wasn't for the Tree of Life. Personally, if I had to be honest about Everest, I would take it or leave it. It's not my favorite coaster at Walt Disney World. There are definitely better coasters. People have said they like Everest better than Space Mountain. I have to disagree with those people. Space Mountain, sure, it may be a little rough around the edges. You get rocked back and forth a bit. Still, if you sit in the back row, you get a lot more whip. There's tiny pops of airtime on the drops. And if you compare this to Everest, there's no airtime. The ride's not geared towards negative G-forces, leans more on positive Gs. You really feel this on two main moments, the turn after the main drop, and I believe the 540-degree helix. Some parts may be solid, but by the end of the day, it's a mine train with a lot of filler. You can't tell me you enjoyed the turns after the first chain lift. They were just dull. If I can change anything about Everest besides the layout, I would want them to fix Disco Yeti. It's Disney's largest animatronic and it's been frozen in time for over a decade. Just why? I mean, I do understand the structural issues and why they can't have the animatronic move back and forth in risk of making the foundation even worse, but it's been too long and I want to see this animatronic in action. I don't care if they have to close the ride for maybe a year or two to fix this, because I think the 6-second payoff will be cool. And now that I'm saying this out loud, I realize why they're not doing that. But it's better than a strobe light effect. The last time I was there, the strobe light effect wasn't working. There was like 2 flashes, so I didn't even get a glimpse of Disco Yeti. It was probably nothing. One of the light bulbs that might have been broken or something. That's just how it was on my most recent experience. Anyway, moving on to Animal Kingdom's largest addition they've ever had, Pandora the World of Avatar. This is my favorite theme park land. I know some of you guys are biased towards Galaxy's Edge, but I don't care. This place is better. There's nothing inherently wrong about Star Wars Land. I've just never been able to get into the movies. Plus, the mouse has kind of ruined that franchise. And I just felt like something was missing from this land. And by missing, I mean I couldn't get on freaking Rise of Resistance, even though I stayed on property, booked a reservation for the park 4 weeks in advance, and flew in all the way from Chicago. Long story short, the reservations booked up after 3 seconds during both of their draws, and despite my efforts to beg at the employees and guest services, I could not get on Rise, and that's really it. Sorry for yelling at you guys about this. I'm just frustrated about the entire ordeal. Since I actually got to experience everything at Pandora, I have a well-formulated opinion about it. Maybe when I get on Rise, eventually, I will like that land better, but until then, Pandora the World of Avatar is my number 1. Now what this land really does well is blending. It takes real-life plants and mixes them with the artificial bioluminescent forest. And what do you get with this combination? An out-of-this-world appearance with a healthy glow at night. The floating mountains are so realistic. I've seen my fair share of nature's wonders, and this appears so genuine. Imagineers' top-notch job. Pandora, they have 2 main attractions, Na'vi River Journey and Flight of Passage. Flight of Passage, picture it like Soarin', it's a flying theater except the ride system's different. Soarin', where there's just one range of motion back and forth and it's gradual and doesn't do much. This one's got like a bounce feature so you can go up and down. It even has an extra detail where you can feel the Banshee breathing on you. No kidding, they put flaps by your legs so you can actually feel the Banshee. It just adds another factor to the sensory detail. What I love about Flight of Passage is the queue. It knows how to transition itself. One moment you're outside, then you're going into a cave and you see paintings on the wall from the Na'vi. Next, you're going into the bioluminescent forest, then the facility where you get to see the Avatar from the movies. The queue, the line, the theming, it represents Disney at its finest. The Na'vi River Journey, it's not quite as good as Flight of Passage. That's more of a biased thing because the ride's not meant to be thrilling. Rather, it's supposed to be a relaxing boat ride as it takes you through these large set pieces. I will say though, I love the Shaman animatronic. It is the best animatronic at Walt Disney World. It's so fluent in its motion because Imagineers, they took a lot of time on this one to make sure there are a lot more frames of motion. Compare that to other animatronics where it's a lot more snappy and quick. This behemoth of a blue space cat has shown me how far Disney has come with the technology. And with that, I'm done talking about the main reasons why you should come to Animal Kingdom. Remember how I said the park doesn't have much when you get past their top 2? Well, I said that for a reason, they don't. I mean, sure they have other rides, but they're not that special. Kilimanjaro Safari will probably be the next best ride here. That one's actually really good. I do enjoy seeing the animals. The tour guides, they really know what they're talking about. They crack jokes, they mix up the information, so it's different every single time you go on. But you know what happens every time I ride this? I fall asleep. I literally fall asleep. I don't know why. Halfway through the ride, I doze off for some reason. Remember, this is not a smooth safari ride. It's not like taking a journey down the highway, you're rocking back and forth, jumping up and down. And my weird mind must think that's a cradle, because I'm struggling to keep my eyes open. Nothing against Kilimanjaro, that's just what happens when I go on. Another ride here is Cali River Rapids. This raft ride, I would just say is short. It's a prime example of a Disney half-assed attempt, because there's not much to the ride. It does have an overarching theme of deforestation, but it doesn't really go anywhere. You see some theming, go down the drop, and suddenly you're back at the station. I hate how it's so obvious this ride was made on a budget. And speaking of budgets, how can I talk about Animal Kingdom without discussing the one blemish this place has? And it's a big one. Dino Land USA. What the hell is this place? Animal Kingdom, you have this theme of nature. You got trees and greenery everywhere. Even some unexpected theming that you don't intend on seeing, but you do and you love it. Then suddenly, Dino Land USA, it feels like you just walked out of Animal Kingdom into a parking lot carnival. And I'm not kidding, this place is sitting on a parking lot. That was one of the main things I was making fun about Dino Land, the fact you can see some of the parking spaces. So does that mean the 15 or so years Dino Land's been open, they haven't once retarded the parking lot? Geez, even Disney didn't care to maintain this place. If you think I'm being too hard on Dino Land, oh, I haven't even started. You notice how there are a bunch of carnival games? If you didn't, you're probably blind because they are all over the parking lot. And they're not even good-looking carnival booths. They seem like they were made out of plywood and cheap paint. What rides do they have here? Oh, they have Triceratops Spin. I'm sure Disney doesn't have any ride like that. Oh, and didn't they have a spinning Wild Mouse coaster? That's weird, I've never seen one of these at a theme park before. But don't worry about that. It's been closed for 2 years, you wouldn't know that though, because it's been sitting here, SB&O. There is no sign of demolition, so for the time being, we're just gonna have a big hunk of metal sitting in Dino Land. I will say, however, the one redeemable thing about this land is Dinosaur. It's themed to that movie you didn't realize Disney actually made. Still, the actual ride is pretty decent. I will say though, I do want them to give this ride a refresh, either update some show scenes or the animatronics, or just gut the entire thing and give the ride a rehaul. I heard 5 years ago they were gonna make this ride into Indiana Jones. Didn't happen, but if not that, they can do like a Zootopia ride. A rumor that's been going around but didn't get much traction was that they were gonna make Dino Land USA into Zootopia Land like the one at Shanghai Disney. I would be fine with this as long as they don't slap on a coat of paint and put a few figures around. I really want them to improve the worst area in all of Walt Disney World. Besides that, I have nothing more to say about Animal Kingdom, just you're not gonna need a lot of time here. I still feel like Animal Kingdom's a half-day park, there's just not enough to do. I got here at opening, and I only had to spend about 4 hours here, and I got on everything, twice. You can probably squeeze another hour if you just want to look at the animals. The exhibits are just kind of things I like to look at on my way to an attraction. Like I'm walking, then like, cool, gibbons, then I'm on to the next thing. When I was finished and satisfied with my day, I went to Fun Spot afterwards. So that was sweet. Just don't intend on spending your entire day at Animal Kingdom. Maybe lump in another park, that would be my recommendation. That being said, thank you for watching the video. Please like and subscribe. I'm not here to force you, but I would definitely appreciate it. And as always, I'll see you all next time. Bye, guys.